In this tutorial, I'm going to work on gesture recognizers, and this is what we are working towards. It's a single view application, just a label on it, and if I click on it, it says tapped. If I swipe to the left, it says left swipe. Swipe to the right, it says right swipe. And in simulator, basically you simulate touching with your finger by just clicking with the mouse. I'm going to click here, just click and drag to the left. That's how you simulate swipe. So let me explain the code. There are different ways of doing that. One way is programmatically. So basically this is a single view application. I took the storyboard, dragged a label up there, created an outlet, property, outlet for the label, and in the .m file, okay, I'm just going to open it here. In the .m file, synthesize the label so I can access it. Then I jump into writing code for the gesture recognizer, and this is basically what I do. In the view did load, UI tab gesture recognizer star TGR. For tap gesture recognizer, I abbreviated it. Now here I would say from here to here, UI tab gesture recognizer alloc within square brackets, and then we have square brackets from here all the way up to here. It encloses the rest of it. Init with the target self. The tab gesture recognizer is going to fire some methods. Where are they going to be? In this file, self. In this file right here, down below. And what action? Which method is it going to fire? That's action : add selector tapped. So tapped is the name of the method that I need to implement and handle the tap. Here's a colon there. Small point but very important. It means that a tapped method that I'm going to go and define will take a parameter. Okay, and here it is. It's void tapped : and it takes this parameter UI tap gesture recognizer type parameter, and it's going to be encapsulated into a variable called tapped. The iOS will automatically call this method and send in a parameter of this type, and all the values of where the click took place and all that stuff will be in this tapped parameter available in this method. Step number 2, I'm going to take this tap gesture recognizer TGR variable and call set number of taps required. When I'm going to handle this tapped method, how many times the user has to click? Just once. You can have it 2, 3. If I put 2 here, then user will have to click twice to fire this method. We'll look at it in a second. Step number 3, self.view. In this files, whatever the view associated with it, add a gesture recognizer. Which one? The one we've been defining up in the above 2 lines, TGR. So now it's registered. So let's play with it a little bit. You saw it once. If I click on it, one click, tapped. Now I'm going to say type 2 in there. Run it again. I click once, nothing happens. Click. I'm going to click. Double click. I click twice in repetitively fast. Then now this method is fired. You see, taking the label, it's setting its text to tapped. all this method is doing. So that same thing with three tabs, one tabs, two tabs, whatever you want. Now the next is the swipe gesture recognizer, and it goes like this. Swipe gesture recognizer, define a variable, a pointer, star as swipe gesture recognizer left. When I swipe left, this is my name. Again, swipe gesture recognizer alloc, init with target self, action selector SGRLA. So this is it. I'm going to have a method SGRLA. So whenever I swipe, that method is going to will be fired. So almost you can say this line and this line you will change according to your program. Rest of it will stay the same. Only this change. Name of the variable and the method. I just came up with the naming convention SGRL, variables action A. I just postfixed A to it. So this gesture recognizer will fire a method SGRLA. You can name it whatever you want. Now I'm going to take this variable up here. Set direction. Which way will I swipe? UI swipe gesture recognizer direction left. So that's what telling it. When I swipe to the left, same thing, self view add gesture recognizer SGRL. Now left, when I swipe left, that's gesture recognizer is registered. And now I copied and pasted the same thing down there, only changed this to SGRR, swipe gesture recognizer to the right. Change this to SGRRA. This is the name of the method. Colon means it is going to have this method when I define is going to have a parameter right here. SGRRA takes this parameter. Very important point. And set the direction to right. You see how this one is right as opposed to left. Then to the view, add just this gesture recognizer. Name of the gesture recognizer, the method it'll call when it's activated, what direction I have to swipe, and let's check it out. And all that does is it takes the label, set a text to left swipe, this one right swipe. I'm going to click and swipe to the left, drag the mouse to the left. There you go, left swipe, right swipe, click, click to the left, click, drag to the right. And these methods are being fired. Of course, I can do anything I want in these methods. For example, one thing I wanted to do was when I click, instead of saying tapped, it says tapped and also moves it wherever I click. Move it down there. Click, move it down here. And that would be in there. That's what I'm going to do next. From this tapped, I'm going to try to figure out the point I clicked on and move the label to that point. Will change. First, let me show you what it does. I'm going to click here. See, it moves to where I clicked. I'm going to click over here. It moves to where I clicked. I'm going to move down there. It moves to where I clicked. And this is how it does that. Taking this variable, I'm going to use it here. I'm going to make a CG point type variable called location. This is built in. This is what I decided. I'm going to call it location. On what tapped right here, I'm going to call location in view, self.view method on it. And I got a location of where I tapped. Next, I'm going to take the UI view, call a method on it, transition with view. Label, take my label. The duration is going to be this much. Options, it's going to do a UI view animation curve ease in out. animation void, and label dot center. Take my label, center it where? Take this location variable that I defined up here, locations X, locations Y. Completion, do nothing. So basically you could use this, all of this, all I'm changing is the name of my label, again right here, the name of the location that I got up there, it's X and Y. So this stuff is mine, location, label, rest of it stays the same, and just that much does all this. I was trying to make an application where people try to enter something in a text box and move it away from wherever they typed in to make it a little funny. So here you go. So this is another example of how you can take this and do rest of it. Next, I'm going to show you a little bit different way of adding the tap gesture recognizer. And one is that in the storyboard, using the storyboard, I'm going to open up this thing right here. Find the tap gesture recognizer, drag it. It gets added down there. Open up the .h file. If it's not open, I would say open associated editor, show assistant editor. Click. I'm going to do the other way. I'm going to click here. As soon as I do that, I see this one information right there. I'm going to delete that because I already added it. Send action. I'm going to drag that up here. It's an action, and it's the tapped gesture recognizer. And what that will do is it'll create an IB action, and in the .m file, it'll add a stub of that method. So now whenever instead of all of this, using the storyboard, we'll just do this, and when you click on it, you will end up in here, and you don't have to do any of this. Of course, you'll have less control over it, but now it's not needed. This is gonna get fired. So whenever you click, this is where you write your code. So that's another way of implementing gesture recognizers, and that of course was just a tap gesture recognizer. And there's also pinch, rotation, swipe, long press. So that's another easy way of implementing gesture recognizers. I'm going to undo this because I'm doing this programmatically, and shows you a different way of how to undo this kind of stuff. I'm going to click in here and I'm going to delete it. When I delete it, this is going to be left behind. I have to delete that, and in the .m file I have to delete this that it had put in also. Now it's all cleaned up. And if I run it, it should work just like before. So I also showed you how to clean up these kind of things. Here we are.